We want to talk about, just for about 10 minutes, a strange aspect of marriage that I call the prophetic perspective in marriage, the prophetic perspective. One of the reasons why some spouses or whatever don't do well in marriage is because they do not regard the prophetic part of marriage. That's why some at the very beginning married to the wrong person, so they were prophetically mistaken. However, the Lord so structured it that once you are married, you are prophetically right. So you have no excuse for divorce, etc., etc. So, but the point about the prophetic is this: is that people do things. A lot of folks do things because they don't know what's going to happen 2 years' time in the marriage. If they knew that by what they do now, 2 years, one would be dead, they would not do it. And that sounds graphic, but let me tell you why. Let me tell you an example. Let's say there's an issue with a child, and there is what they call it, they're trying to say who is paternity and whatever, and most time that issue is underrated as to how emotionally charged that could be. And one spouse might be doing well in having their way in the paternity or whatever, who is, and don't know that that's going to cause death. Here's another. A lot of folks don't know that just you telling your spouse that it's over, you can go your way, I don't want you no more, that in 3 months you'll be in the grave. If you can you handle what I'm dealing with right now? If I can't handle it, I'm not going to go any further. Now, yes, this is the part that they don't teach you in seminary nor in most marital counsel, and many end up dead, many end up sick, many end up mental, because they did not consider the prophetic aspect. At the time, they considered that they were successful. Maybe they had a fuss, and one had the upper hand. So because one had the upper hand, they just use their upper hand and don't know what would be the repercussion. So we want to, this is like the first ministry I believe in the entire world, going to look at marriage from a prophetic perspective. Say amen. All right. The first person I want to talk about is Adam. Adam had an inverted home. Inverted home. In other words, the roles were inverted. So Adam allowed his wife to answer the door. He allowed his wife to be the head. And that's why when the serpent came, he talked to her and not him. And some scholars will tell you that the issue of Adam and the serpent is not the high-flown one. They will tell, some scholars will tell that it was a matter of immorality. Yeah, they will tell you it was a matter of adultery, etc., etc. So here's the point: prophetic perspective. An inverted home produces sensuality, prophetically. In other words, a home where the roles are confused will increase the possibility of adultery. If it's not adultery, at least sensuality, because what some the struggle some folks have is not that they commit adultery, but they fantasize adultery. And the Bible said that the fantasize is also adultery. I've read in newspaper article, no, sorry, not newspaper article, in a newspaper, you know, they have this thing in a particular newspaper where there was a counselor who folks can write in about their marriage or their situations, and one person wrote and asked, what? And that's a Jamaican thing, but this one is in America. Yeah, that one, yeah, something like that. This person wrote and said, while I'm sleeping with my partner, can I imagine that they are just my same sex? Yeah, yeah. Can I imagine? Can I, you know, I'll enjoy it more if I think that they are my same sex. So the point I'm saying that prophetically, once there is an issue where the man is serving the wimpy role, there is a sure door open for perversion, homosexuality, adultery. Especially the Bible says in Numbers 23:20, in these last days, this would be increased dramatically. So prophetically, if you don't fix that role in your home, oh, you're making way for adultery, homosexuality. Sometimes it may not be in the immediate wife and husband, children. Oh, I couldn't tell you. I just met upon a situation in a certain part of the world where that was the exact situation with people who had come in meeting like this and were given, you know, they talk about roll call, because most of you're very strong in your understanding of the roles. And it's not common in other places, so don't think it's common in other places. You go other places, don't talk like that, they would clobber you. Yeah. But it's acceptable among you. But there's a particular people who have been among you just like that, and they decide to say, I don't care, I'm going to go my way. And exactly as I'm saying right now, is the situation. It's so awful. But in this case, it's the offspring, it's the children turn out that way. It's so terrible. So the inverted home, where the roles are messed up, if there is confusion concerning roles, it's better you be in your role. Are you in? If you're going to give, if you say, okay, I'm not sure, stay in your role. If you're not sure, you know, stay in your role. Prophetic perspective. Next one was Abraham. Abraham treated his wife like a sister. And because of that, a king nearly took her away. You can't treat your spouse like a sister or brother. You treat your spouse like a sister or brother, prophetically speaking, you are pushing them in the arms of another. And prophetically speaking, it's going to happen, except for the Lord. The love of the Lord is going to happen. In other words, you have told them, go and do it. Because you're treating your spouse like a brother or sister. Do you understand, brother or sister? Are you sure? The passion is missing. But you know, you love your sister, or you love your brother. You know, I lift up my sisters, love them, kiss them, you know, on the face and so, you know. But my wife, I mean, I have to go beyond that. Now, so, and many, even right here, will say my relationship is a little better than my sibling. Once it's like that, you have to fix it. You have to bring back the passion. You have to bring back the passion. But most of the time, we want to bring back we just think it's our spouse should bring back the passion. He's not doing this, he's not doing that. She's not doing this. No, 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 no. You got to bring your passion. And once you bring your passion, your spouse, under God, should return. But you cannot afford to treat your spouse like a sibling. His wife was nearly, and Abraham slept with Hagar. And because he slept with Hagar, now we have the terrorists. You know, Ishmael. So from Abraham, we have his wife nearly taken. His wife was nearly taken by a king, and then Abraham, you know, causing one of the most bizarre things on the earth, just because he treated his wife like a sister. Because even when his wife said, "Why don't go sleep with Hagar?" Huh? Sleep with Hagar. It's because of the sister relationship. You know, there's no passion. So, you know, go over and fulfill, you know, etc., etc. So you want to not treat your spouse like a sibling. That was Abraham. Next one, Moses. Moses' sister and brother was against his wife. And because of that, the wife got leprosy and the husband lost his ministry. Did you get that? That means you never allow your relatives to come between you and your spouse. No matter what fault they have, you can't tell your sister the fault of your wife. You cannot tell your brother the fault of your husband. You cannot. You cannot. Once you do that, the prophetic release is given for you to get sick. Now, especially in this hour, especially if your spouse is in ministry, if you get ill, please ask the Lord, is it because of how I treat my spouse? Prophetic. If you get ill, check on your spouse. All right, that one struggling. So let me run to Ezekiel then. Ezekiel, prophetically speaking, Ezekiel's wife took away his attention from his ministry, and she lost her life for that. Now, Ezekiel was most to be blamed, because Ezekiel should have said, "No, honey, I love you, but I have to pay attention to the ministry." So, prophetically speaking, if you allow your spouse, especially in ministry, to weaken in any way your ministry, you are putting your spouse at the risk of death. It's right here, prophetically speaking. So, though sometimes it look like it's a spouse, you who allow that to happen is actually putting your spouse in danger. Now, I've seen in cases where spouses, they get jealous of their spouse because they may become a preacher or an evangelist. I've seen cases where one is promoted to a minister and the spouse never even say congratulations. Never, you know. So you want, especially if there's a calling on that person's life, you want to not in any way diffuse that calling. And another case, there's another man, Nabal. I'm going very fast. Nabal in the Bible, his wife was Abigail, and his wife was gifted, and he didn't realize it. You don't want to have a gifted spouse and despise that gift. Are you there? You know, and some spouse ignore the gift, or despise the gift through what? Jealousy. Jealousy. There are some spouse, if they know that their spouse is going to be the preacher for the day, they're not going to show up. Because they take their spouse for granted so much. No, is him going to preach? You know? Is she going to sing? And they take that. That is a mistake. All, you know, because you're human and they get used to, you know, you can't enjoy your husband's sermon because you're seeing him every day, or your wife song. You know, you want to be the main cheerleader for your spouse in their gift. If you despise their gift or weaken their gift, you can pay a very, very high price, because that gift came from the Lord. Yeah. So let's say your spouse is a preacher, you're not a pastor, you're not a pastor, maybe you're a singer, or maybe you're good in culinary arts or whatever. You always cheer on. Even though you see her all the time, say normal to you, you're eating all that nice food all the time. So you know, I have one fault. My wife loves to eat out, you know, but I don't love to eat out. But it's her fault, because she cooks so good. Because, you know, so that's my surface answer. You have to ask him for my other answer. Yeah. Yeah. So, but the point is, I have to recognize, I mean, she cook wicked. You know, you probably don't know. So you got it. So you want her to hear that, you know. So you want to be the main cheerleader for your spouse. All right. Soon we finish. So Nabal. So we have Adam, Abraham, Moses, Nabal, Ezekiel. David was watching porn. Was watching porn. That's what he was doing. He was watching the lady. He was watching porn. If you watch porn, you will have adultery. You will have death. You will have mental illness in your clan. If it's not you, it's coming somewhere. Somewhere. You're watching porn. And you don't want to watch porn. If you watch porn, something bad going to happen. No matter how you want to do it, just ask for help. Ask for help from a leader. Do not watch porn. You watch porn, you're finished. Every porn watcher I know is finished. Who continued? You know. So you do not watch. So you get help. Get help. Don't condemn yourself, just get help. Then we have Vashti. I'm almost finished. Vashti husband was the head of an entire kingdom. The Bible said that his kingdom was from India all the way to Africa. It's from India to Ethiopia, but Ethiopia meant Africa. That's a big. So this man was very big. He was like the king of the world. And he sent for his wife to show the beauty of his wife. Come, all men love to show their wife. Can I hear amen from the men? All men love to show their wife. So he sent for his wife to show, and she refused. And she lost everything for another woman. If you disrespect your husband, you're going to lose everything. You cannot disrespect your husband. If you disrespect your husband, you're going to lose everything. Back to Abigail and Nabal. I missed this part. Nabal did not recognize the gift in his wife. Lost his life. Lost his life. So these things, yeah, you don't want to disrespect your husband. You don't want to disregard the gifts. You know what? Here's this one now. Finish. You see, like how the Bible says, if you have an issue within the brothers in the church or whatever, you should not take it to court. You should take it to your leaders to resolve it. It's the same thing. You cannot go off to divorce your spouse or whatever, and you have not brought the matter to the church, you will pay. You can't just disregard, the church, and all of a sudden we hear that you separated. The church has heard that you're separated. I heard that you're working on a divorce. You're done. So this is the prophetic. I have to give you a graphic, because among us you don't see much of it, because you folks have been, most of the time you have been following the guidelines. But the few, it is so sad, the few who have disregarded, because almost every time we meet is nearly the same thing. Am I right? Nearly the same thing. The few who have disregarded is so sad. It is so sad. I'm looking at some examples right now. So, from a prophetic perspective, because we are now in the time of prophecy fulfillment, if you have no other reason to, press on and work on it, you don't want to become a victim of prophecy. All right? So that's it. So that's the end of the prophetic perspective. Yeah. Yes, Moses, because he allowed his relatives, to undermine his wife. He married to an Ethiopian, and remember, your spouse may have certain limbs. They thought that she was, she was of a different race and whatever. Don't highlight the limbs you see in your spouse were the ones God ordained for you to feel. So if you fuss about it, about the limbs, you have it as your hiding place. You're supposed to feel that gap, those limbs.